Welcome everyone to this hackathon information event about the Encode Internet Computer Hackathon. We're going to take you through everything you might need to know about the hackathon, all the details, answer any questions you have, and then after I've done speaking, Liz from DFINITY and the Internet Computer team will go in to some details about the challenges and things you can build and that whole experience there. I'm going to stick to the organizational side, and in general you should know this already because you've signed up for this event or you've already signed up for it, you've kind of registered in general. But this is a 4-week hackathon to build a blockchain project. That should be easy enough on the Internet Computer. And in general, we want you to use this as on an app. My words are stumbling today. Use this as an opportunity to learn about blockchain, to get the skills needed to get involved in the blockchain space. And it's a hackathon, so you should answer challenges and be rewarded by prizes with lots of social fun things along the way and side opportunities there. 4-week hackathons or online hackathons in general are very different to a traditional hackathon structure. To be honest, a number of you I can imagine probably haven't been to a traditional hackathon in a while or ever, and your whole experience is of an online hackathon. But all that we mean when we say an online hackathon is that you obviously compete online. It's a bit longer. You build in your own pace, you learn in your own pace, and hopefully that is reflected in a better project at the end of it. But it's a slightly different, more relaxed way of building, though you probably won't realize this at the time when we get to submissions. Cool. So a little bit about Encode. Encode, you probably all from the Encode community seen this already, but we are a blockchain education community. This is the one place, hopefully one good place, or one of many good places you can learn about crypto in depth and particularly fantastic protocols. So welcome from the Encode team. I'm Anthony, the CEO. We've got Anupam from our team as well. You'll see George, Omji, Danny, Clara, Vanessa all around at the Discord and there for your assistance, and especially when we get to the one-on-ones section, we'll talk about that a little bit later. You'll see our faces a little bit more and we'll be very hands-on in helping you. What is this really all? I mean, you will have various motivations for taking part in the hackathon, but some of you really might want to just found startups, and I think hackathons are probably the most leveraged bets you can make with your time to going on to do something fantastic in crypto. And in Encode, we've seen many projects go on to be from hackathon projects to full-time startups. But here's 4 as examples: Reflexor Labs, 2 stablecoins, Reflexor Labs and Float Protocol, a lending platform called Euler, and an NFT platform called ZeroXMons have done particularly well. And really, all of these kind of came out of hackathons, very quickly raised money, very quickly scaled, and within a year were launching and doing fantastic things. So hopefully we see another fantastic startup or many fantastic startups come out of this program. So in general, there are obviously other reasons why you might do a hackathon. One is obviously just to learn new skills, and that's absolutely fine. And we're going to try and give you the skills of using the Internet Computer, a bit of Rust, a bit of Motoko, a bit of WebAssembly. In general, kind of as long as you have some sort of programming background, you should have absolutely no problem getting to grips with the Internet Computer. But in general, this is a great place to learn new skills and learn blockchain skills conceptually and specifically on a coding point of view. You might end up becoming an ambassador within the Internet Computer kind of community, and I've seen this many times, and also people getting hired in the space. Again, a lot of people get hired directly from hackathons because the hackathon ends up becoming a very good proxy for who is smart and engaged. This is like a very good thing. And the last thing is receive funding for future ideas and grants, which again, there are as many of in the Internet Computer and broader also Encode ecosystems. Discord is a great place. Encode has dedicated Discord. Internet Computer also have a dedicated Discord. So there's 2 for your choosing. I believe all the links will be pasted into chat now, / have been in the last few minutes, and will be re-put. So if you do want to get involved with Discord, it's really like I appreciate these days we're all part of 100 Discords, or at least I'm part of 100 Discords. So the key for me to a great Discord is, can I get support? Are there nice, friendly people? And does it match my interests? And hopefully all of you those 3 things significantly apply. So do get involved in the Discord, and if you do have any general questions about anything, that's the place to go, and you'll find all of our team, all of the Internet Computer team across the 2 Discords. Note there is a difference. There's the Encode Discord and there's the Internet Computer one. If you've got more technical questions, please go to the Internet Computer one. It's just in general about the hackathon, you're just shooting the breeze. Please go to the Encode Discord. Right, let's talk to you about some dates. So slight tweak in the dates, but because we realised that whilst the hackathon was supposed to start on Monday, we don't actually have an event scheduled for Monday, which is kind of awkward. I want to start you all off with an event. So you absolutely can start hacking. To be honest, you can start hacking now. There's no actual problem. You can actually start hacking from Monday the 4th. You can start now. But I think you'll want to maybe stagger it around the first event, which is next Wednesday, which is a fantastic intro to building on the Internet Computer with Motoko. So this is like a nice event to kind of bring everyone together. Lose my links. But in general, please come along to the first event, which will kind of be the launch event for the hackathon. You can hack until the 31st. Again, this is a fairly flexible structure. Like there's lots of time. We're not going to be we appreciate you have studies, you have jobs, you have projects. So the hackathon is designed with this flexibility in mind. So you can take the things we give you, the opportunities, the things we share, you can take them at your own pace. And in general, we finish with a lovely prize giving and final in mid-November. So that does feel like a long time away. It actually isn't. Well before Christmas, well before, or a little bit before Thanksgiving as well, if we've got any US participants. So this is in general the overview. I think we have a nice specific one here, which is that next week 2 events, intro to Motoko, intro to Rust. We then will have some events that should have been updated. I think office hours are supposed to be that. So a couple of events, pretty much every week there'll be a couple of events, and in general you can see from the 18th there will be one-to-one calls. Actually, they'll start a little bit earlier, where our team will be hands-on with you, helping you with your projects and seeing how's it going and how we can help. Before we do have submissions on the week of the 25th, so that's 31st, a couple of weeks of judging, and then the final and prize giving. But how does the hackathon actually work anyway? Like, what is this online hackathon thing? Let's kind of break that down a bit. In general, you're building a coding project. Like that is the fundamental tenet of a hackathon. In this case, you're building a coding project using the technology stack or in some way of the Internet Computer, and Liz can talk a little bit about that a little bit later. It's a place to make friends. It's a place to learn. There's no pressure on anything. Everything about an Encode event is open and permissionless and meant to be for your enjoyment fundamentally, not with any pressure on anything. So you build, you come, you turn up to the events, you're hopefully active social on the Discord, nice to people, do one-on calls with us, build a project, collect support along the way, and submit it and hopefully win prizes. Actually very, very simple after that. And minimally, you could just do a project without ever speaking to someone and submit it on the 31st. Maximally, you can make friends for life, quite frankly, and really get deep into the ecosystem and what's going on. So for those of you who do like, what the hell is a hackathon? It's just something, it's a program where you just build a coding project fundamentally. Cool. I wanted to talk about what a hackathon looks like before, like, so you can kind of see like what one looks like. And I thought the best one to actually give inspiration was a hackathon we finished. This feels like years ago. It was February, which makes me laugh. This year has gone so fast, and yet so much has happened in it. I'll share a link. Actually, Anupam, if you can share links to past hackathons, it's on our hackathons page on the website. But this is a very good example. So this is the hackathon finished in February. It was different to this hackathon. We had many different things you could build on. In this case, everything is centered around the Internet Computer as a baseline. You can kind of see the projects here. What I love about this is like pretty much all of them are startups. This is a general trend, but this one was like an outlier. Like 0xMons, that's a live token, doing extremely well. Revert, actually Encode, has a dedicated investment fund, and we just invested in it. Float, the same, live token, doing really well. Layer Cake Swap, the founder, is just raised a massive round for a separate startup. Loot, the guy got hired into the Polkadot ecosystem. OpenDive just raising a big round at the moment. Sub-Auction, I believe they're ambassadors now. DFINITY, I think that one actually nothing happened with. We had to have one. Apollo got funding, and VCred also got funding. And so it kind of, I know that perhaps suggesting that doing a startup is the be-all and end-all. Obviously it's not, but there really is an opportunity if you are kind of very ambitiously minded for this to be a launch pad to great and better things. There are plenty also other people who just use this as an opportunity to learn, and that's absolutely fantastic, and that's always the place I would start. In terms of prerequisite ability required, someone in your team has to have coding ability. After that, I don't mind. In fact, we don't assess this. Everyone is accepted into the hackathon. It's completely permissionless in that respect. So you don't, but in terms of actually some success, which is you have to build a project, you have to submit a project. We'll talk about what that looks like in a moment. We do expect someone in the team to be able to code, because this is building something technical at the end of the day. And if you do build something non-technical, it's great, but like it won't be considered for prizes, and we have very generous prizes. Apart from that, I've seen teams that have technical people combined with non-technical people, just technical people. That's absolutely fine. And in terms of your actual level, like I am not a software developer by training, and I dug my teeth into all of this on the internet computer side last week, and I could get things working very quickly, and like I wasn't even technical, so it shouldn't be too hard in the grand scheme of things. But you do need to be technical. So if you've done some coding at university, if you've done a coding project, you've done hackathons before, you'll be absolutely fine. There is no prerequisite ability needed in Rust, in WebAssembly and Motoko. That will be taught to you during this hackathon. In terms of challenges, again, I'll leave this kind of Liz, but there is $160,000 worth of prizes, which is quite crazy if you think about it, like in the grand scheme of things. And broadly, you want you to do one of three things. You can do whatever you want, by the way, but this is focused on doing stuff to do with NFTs. I'll talk about what NFTs are, if you don't know, in a moment. Gaming and social media. You'll notice kind of a general thread here. These are all things that are very kind of web application experience, kind of heavy. If you build a game, like that is a very web application experience. Wherever the game's hosted, a social media site is like that is effectively a very cool website. NFTs are actually, if those of you who don't know, I can give you the basic definition. I'm sure most of you here do know about NFTs, but NFTs are non-fungible assets. So they are tokens that are unique. Now, an easy way for them to be unique is them to be artwork or have a specific kind of use case. But in this case, we want you to use your creativity, and we have plenty of resources available about NFTs, for building NFTs and how you do it. And what would a hackathon solution involving NFTs look like? Like, could it be a marketplace? Could it be just like you build your own NFTs that and like they have some cool art or use? Like that would be really cool to see. But in general, there's a lot of opportunities to do stuff cool here with three particularly cool niches. There's not bonus points. You can build anything. It's just, I think, to be honest, I think you'll find it easiest to start on these three, because this is the majority of what is kind of built kind of so far in the internet computer ecosystem. Well, that's a bit overstating the case. There are a lot of great projects that are in these three niches that you can kind of borrow some inspiration from. This is not, you can build anything you like, but there's no kind of bonus point system. But if you build something good, you'll get rewarded. Simple as. In terms of like where you should go from here, there's a 10-step process, which sounds long. It's actually easy steps. So you all should have received an onboarding email as part of joining the hackathon. If you haven't, you can still register. Please go to the Internet Computer Hackathon website, and there's a nice registration form at the bottom, and you'll go through a complete flow where you'll get set up with the hackathon. In general, there will be a big shiny red button which says join the Discord. So please go there as a first kind of port of call. That's where you can need to be for the hackathon in terms of receiving. If you aren't familiar with Discord, it's a messaging platform. It's a place where our community is hosted. So all messaging to do with the hackathon will go to the Discord. Second is read the onboarding docs. There's two. There's one hacker pack produced from Encode. There's a second one coming that's produced by the DFINITY team about technically getting started. That should be with you imminently, because I know a lot of you want to start reading that and getting ready to go. So you read the onboarding docs and get yourself familiar with what we're actually doing. Three is get a team. Now, there's a few things to say here. The first thing to say is that you can either enter with a team already existed, some friends, that's absolutely fine. You can join as an individual and build as an individual. You can join as an individual and join the Find Teammates channel and just say, like, I want a teammate. You can go there. There's many things you can do. You can go into the hackathon and later bring other people in. There's no restrictions on that. You can also register as late as you want, even the last weekend. You're like, oh my God, I want to just build something now. If anyone's watching this on YouTube, and like you can just join like a day before and submit something. That's absolutely fine. We don't prevent people from doing that. But in theory, you kind of need to get a team. This is the most, or at least decide if you're going to build on your own. Fourth, please attend the workshops. Easier said than done. I know that, so for instance, all of our events go on YouTube the very next day along with the slides. And you might be thinking, well, I just always watch them on YouTube. I personally find, I don't know about you, I don't tend to watch everything that, that I say I'm going to watch, and certainly not in the depth. I want to. Live has this wonderful quality of forcing us to actually engage with content as it wants to be presented. So do attend the workshops. They will all get kind of sent to you. As to the next one to put in your diaries is the intro to building on the IC and Motoko events next Wednesday, swiftly followed by the intro to building on IC computer. The Internet Computer in Rust on the Friday. So please do attend those. That's kind of essential. Ellis, you can start coding. You can start coding from now. I mean, the reason is there's nothing to stop you. So I'm not going to stop you. That's absolutely fine. Right, moving swiftly back. That should say own. And that's quite funny because I was writing my slides last night and I had COVID a number of weeks ago. I swear it's made my brain so foggy that my spelling has been completely ruined. So that should not say one, that should say own time. But ultimately, there's only so much we can kind of teach you on the workshops. To be a great developer, you have to do stuff in your own time. So playing around with the docs, playing around with the tutorials is a kind of really essential thing to do. So please make sure you learn in your own time. That would be extremely, extremely helpful and kind of necessary to kind of 4 weeks is not actually that much time. And so to build a half decent project, we're not expecting the world from you, will require also kind of spending a few hours getting to grips with the internet computer and trying stuff yourself and setting up your environment and building test applications first. So this is kind of essential. Step 6 is choose kind of, well, not your challenge, but what you're going to build. So is it going to be an NFT platform? Is it going to be a social media platform? Is it going to be a game? And in this respect, please come and talk to us. So Omji from our team will be in touch to organise one-on-one calls during the hackathon to provide tailored support. And we'll kind of help kind of point you in the right direction. But if you have ideas now, come and ping us. Find us on the Discord, anyone. It's always on the top right, so you can see all the Encode team members. So come and talk to me or any of the Encode team, and we're absolutely ready to help you. As I say, there we go, do a one-on-one call. So please do, this is very important. You won't find this kind of level of care in any other hackathon, but this is where I feel like we can go the extra mile. We will do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 calls with you if we need to. You don't have to talk to us. That's also absolutely fine. But we really will go the extra mile to help you. So come and have one-on-one call with us. We're great, trust me. In general, get support. So the Internet Computer Development team are there to help you. We know that not everything is a smooth sailing not everything is smooth sailing, particularly with kind of technology. So come and ask questions. The Internet Computer Discord is fantastic with that. Or Encode will help answer in the first instance as well. 9 is obviously submit. There's a specific process for that. I think it's coming up in another slide. But what you'll be submitting is a demo and a GitHub. The demo ideally should also just be a YouTube video for ease of our assessment, but demo, GitHub, and optional presentation are the most essential things. That submission link will go up at probably as early as next week for anyone who wants to start submitting early, but there's really no upside to submitting until the 31st. You can change your submission after submitting. We will not hold that against you. And 10 is just win prizes. Like there is $160,000. That's a lot of people. Sorry, that's a lot of money for like a lot of people, but like still a good risk reward. So please do get motivated. Cool. In terms of general resources, so you'll get the Hacker Pack from Encode, which is a separate general organization document. You have the Discord, we have technical support, Encode team and one-on-ones. Medium is just up here. It's just Encode Club on Medium, medium/Encode-Club, where you can get all of our events go up the very next morning. Are there examples of teams? Yeah, pretty much all of them. Fisher, yeah. And YouTube as well. There is everything. Let's find it now. YouTube Encode Club. everything goes straight on YouTube the next morning as well, ready for consumption. Cool. So what do you actually submit? As I said, demo, code-based, optional presentation. To be honest, I prefer video links to web demos just because usually they're finicky to set up. Web links and a video demo where you kind of talk over it for 2 or 3 minutes is the most efficient. So that's quite good to know. So please bear that in mind. Some general FAQs. A lot of this one's come up a lot. In general, this is a European-focused hackathon. I say focused because, quite frankly, we're not turning anyone away. But we would prefer if you had a European person on your team, and we can help in that respect. Worst case, I'm not too bothered. Max team size 6 officially. I've seen teams bigger than this, but they never actually finish. So I think it's more of a rule of thumb for you that is for me, that 6 people. You can register actually until the deadline, and if you want to add new teammates or friends in, you just ping one of our team and we'll have them register, and we'll add them to kind of your team in our backend database. So that's absolutely fine. In general, in terms of upcoming events, please sign up. You have to sign up via Eventbrite. You also will get a calendar invite directly. So a lot of you probably won't sign up via Eventbrite. You'll be signed up in your calendars via Google Calendar. So please just pay attention to Google Calendar and anything that comes to you on email. Not only will we do communication on Discord, but you'll also get general communication via email as well on the mailing list, which does have an opt-out if you get bored of us, but we hope you do not. So make sure you put these events in your diary. So please join the Discord, find teammates, learn. This is the most important thing. Like, you are here to learn about cool new tech. Join the workshops, and in general, just build cool stuff. And if you're struggling, come talk to us. We're nice. I promise we won't bite. You can still register, as I said, register anytime. This link is always there. So please go there if you do have any things. If you want to register, or if you haven't registered already, I know a number of you here today have just come to find out about the hackathon. So I expect you still to register. Cool. So that's the basics of what I'm going to say at the moment, everyone. I'm going to now hand over to Liz, who's going to talk about cool stuff they'd like to see you build. So Liz, over to you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Anthony, for that wonderful introduction. So a little bit about myself for everyone here. My name is Liz. I work at DFINITY Foundation, which is a Swiss not-for-profit with the mandate of building out the Internet Computer, which is the next generation blockchain platform upon which you can build decentralized applications and software and so on and so forth. So, why participate in this hackathon other than the prize pool and the opportunity to meet new friends? I think there are a lot of compelling reasons. Number one, we have a grants program to the tune of 200 million Swiss francs. So if you would like to receive grant funding for your project in the hackathon, we are definitely all ears and love to hear you out. Number two, there's the opportunity, if you're interested in startups and entrepreneurship, to receive venture funding as well. I helped in our fundraising round 3 years back where we raised $100 million. I'm very well connected with our investor network. So if you're really interested in becoming a founder, very, very happy to chat. And I think, as Anthony mentioned, this hackathon is a very, very good springboard to test that out and see if that really is a path that you'd like to consider. And then thirdly, at the DFINITY Foundation, we do have some of the world's brightest engineers and researchers and operational talent as part of the team. So if you're also interested in a job, we can also chat, and you can see, based on the hackathon, if this sort of thing is interesting to you from a development perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, excellent. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the 3 main categories for the Internet Computer Hackathon. So as Anthony mentioned, the 3 categories are NFTs, gaming, and social media. Of course, if you have an idea that you're really inspired by that's outside of the purview of the 3 categories mentioned, of course, we would welcome your submissions and interested to see what ideas you guys might have. So I wanted to give a quick little introduction in terms of these 3 different categories in case anyone on the call is not familiar, and also wanted to walk through some prominent examples on our platform of these three main categories. And I'm happy to send across this showcase link that I'm on right now in the chat as well. So starting with NFTs, NFTs stand for non-fungible token standard. So basically it's a way to certify via code that a digital asset is completely unique and one of a kind. And even in terms of the mainstream media, you do see a lot of coverage on NFTs at the moment, and they're really having their moment, I think, right now. So you might have heard stories of, like pixelated images selling for millions of dollars, and you might be wondering, well, where's this coming from? And, what's the big deal anyway? So essentially the way in which I like to think about it, we are really used to interacting with data and media online, of course. You stream music through platforms like Spotify, you watch Netflix, you can send files like, PDFs via email. However, there's not really a native way to denote authenticity and ownership of any data or media online. So for example, if any of you have a Netflix account and have watched Squid Game, which I'm obsessed with, you might watch a show like Squid Game on Netflix, but you don't really own any rights to the movie. You can't redistribute it. You can't really share it outside of the, parameters of the platform. If you stream a song on Spotify, you again have to operate within the parameters of the platform, not only as a user, but also as an artist. So even as a very successful commercial artist on a platform like Spotify, you don't really have say over a lot of different things, right? You don't have any say over the revenue model. So many people don't know this, but even if you had 1 million streams on Spotify, that would be like $3,000. So it's not really a way for artists to make money. Spotify also dictates, what actually counts as a listen. It's, I think, something close to 30 seconds, according to Spotify, which actually has changed the way in which artists have created music, because now artists tend to have shorter intros because they don't want people to get bored in the introduction. And also, as an artist, you can only write to your fans on Spotify at select times a year, and the Spotify team needs to proofread your copy and so on and so forth. So where do NFTs come into all of this? They change how we record and certify ownership of assets online, and also put power back in the hands of creators and add an additional layer of data validation. I think one very, very interesting use case as well in the context of NFTs at the moment is that because it's a token standard written in code, there's actually a way to code in royalties. So let's say I'm an artist, I create a work of art as an NFT, it sells on a marketplace. And then as typically follows, the buyer might eventually sell it and so on and so forth. Every single time my artwork sells again on the secondary marketplace, I get an additional cut. So you see a lot of times that an artist will sell a work for a certain amount, and then years later on the secondary markets, it becomes really hot and it's like worth millions of dollars. And the artist, him or herself, has missed out on that, all of the future revenues typically, but that's not the case when it comes to NFTs. And the last thing I'll say about NFTs is that they're generally understood in an art context right now, because I think that's an easy concept to grasp. But certainly, I think art is only the tip of the iceberg, right? There's a lot of really, I think, compelling business use cases of NFTs, especially when it comes to authentication. So for example, online, if you're logging into a website for the first time, they might ask you to sign in with your Gmail account or your Facebook and so on and so forth. But assuming that someone has like the credentials to these accounts, they can basically pose as you online. But let's say authentication in the future were to happen through NFTs. Now, again, NFTs are completely unique, one of a kind. The only person who, so if you own an NFT, like you're the only person who could ever own that like particular, particular set of code. So that if you're logging in and you are the owner of an NFT that authenticates yourself, that 100%, that's the right individual. So yeah, super, super interesting stuff. So why NFTs on the Internet Computer as compared to other blockchain platforms? I think there's some very interesting technical aspects of our blockchain platform which make it especially well suited for NFTs. So one example of this is that if you buy an NFT on Ethereum, and a lot of people don't actually know this, you don't actually buy, a digital image. Basically, because Ethereum, doesn't make it easy or cheap to be able to host files. It costs like millions of dollars to host 1 gigabyte on the Ethereum blockchain platform. What you actually own is just, you know, the token standard Encode, and then it'll point, you know, via a link to a file that's hosted on a centralized platform like AWS. So it's like, okay, I'm paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars or like millions of dollars to essentially own like not even a file at all, because it's still hosted on a centralized platform. So this is not so on the Internet Computer, because we are built to host the world's services and software. Hosting like even very, very large files on the Internet Computer is extremely cheap. It's orders of magnitude cheaper than that of Ethereum. So what that means is that when you host and when you buy an NFT on the Internet Computer, you're actually owning the digital asset itself. So let's walk through a couple of examples of NFTs on the Internet Computer. So there have been a lot of like really interesting and compelling projects, and I wanted to walk you through a few. So recently we had a drop called IC Punks. So they're all completely unique. It's it's like variations on like different types of clowns. So what's really interesting is that there's only 10,000 of these that will ever exist. And on the day we had this drop, there are 200,000 users from all over the world who are clamoring to receive an IC Punk. And you can see a lot of examples of other kinds of projects which can be bought and sold via an NFT marketplace called Entrepot, which has seen millions of dollars in volume to date. So this is created by a developer within our ecosystem that has also received a grant, which you could also receive, you know, if you create something interesting during the course of the hackathon. So it's called Entrepot. I don't speak French, so there might be some French speakers on this call, because that means a port, city, or trading post where merchandise might be imported, stored, or traded. So let's explore the marketplace. So you can see right now that you know, the price is sorted from low to high. So I think the price of ICP is around like 40, 45 the last time I checked. So it's hundreds of dollars like minimum for one of these NFTs. And if you want to go high to low, oh, okay, well, that's not a serious price. But really interesting to see the different kinds of projects. There's Chronic Critters, there's Stars of the Starverse. For, you know, Chronics, they have different wearables. So if you wanted to change the hair, you could also change it here, and so on and so forth. So you might be wondering, you know, what's the big deal? Like, why would I buy one of these things? So one of the very interesting things I think about blockchain is that NFTs, for them to be able to capture the full potential, they're not just static images, right? A lot of the times they're used in conjunction with other types of utility, for example, in the context of a game. So if we have any gamers on the call, you know that games tend to be closed ecosystems, right? So if you buy like a certain item in a game, like there's no way that item could also exist in a different game, because again, like there's different like developers who create these games, and it's a closed off ecosystem. But with the advent of NFTs, especially in the context of gaming, what that means is that we could have different universes that could be completely interoperable. So I think that the way in which we interact with games, like maybe even just a few years down the line, is going to look a lot different. Cool. So another project that I wanted to go over is IC Canvas. So we have a very talented developer here at the DFINITY Foundation who created a social experiment running for 1 week called IC Canvas. So essentially what it was is that it was like literally just a blank white canvas. And then every like set amount of time, I think it was like 30 seconds or so, you were allowed to alter 1 pixel on the canvas. So he wanted to see what would happen if he left this up for 1 week. So it's really cool. We saw like 30,000 users contribute to the canvas, and it changed a lot over the course of the 3 days. And again, highlighting the use cases of NFTs when it comes to blockchain. Essentially, he created 3 separate NFTs from what the canvas looked like at 3 stages during the course of the week. And also everybody who contributes a pixel also gets an NFT, which they can sell. And then 50% of the proceeds overall will go toward charity. So, so I think it's a really interesting way to incentivize collaboration on the internet, as well as doing something for a good cause. I also wanted to show you another upcoming NFT drop that's occurring on our platform by this guy named John, who's created something called Poke Studio. So his background is in gaming, and he's created a lot of characters and artwork for various video games. So he's come up with what we call Poke Studio bots, which are like, I mean, I think very, very good artwork on its own, and eventually you'll be able to play them in the context of a game. So I think it's a very interesting approach when you see the intersection of NFTs to gaming, where you see like a bottoms-up approach, where you start with characters and the game is built around it, often with the input of the community themselves. And then I just wanted to go over like 2 other quick examples in terms of NFTs on the internet computer, also within a gaming context. So there's an upcoming game called ICP Squad, where they have what you call an engage to earn model. If you've been following the blockchain space, then you'll know that there's a new model that's emerged called play to earn through a very exciting game called Axie Infinity, which has 1 million daily active users. In the last 30 days, Axie Infinity has generated $343 million in revenue, which is actually second to only Ethereum itself as a platform. So while the protocol revenue numbers alone depict the emergence of a new, super interesting crypto application, I think what's even more exciting is if you look at the demographics of the types of people who are playing, you know, Axie Infinity and other play to earn types of games. So essentially games in which you can earn cryptocurrency in the course of playing it. So typically you see a large user base in developing nations where, interestingly enough, players can actually earn more playing the game and then selling the cryptocurrency that they've earned than they could with a typical day job. So 50% of daily active users for Axie Infinity actually come from the Philippines, but they're also picking up steam in emerging markets like Indonesia, Brazil, Venezuela, Vietnam, and so on and so forth. And there's actually a documentary that's been done on Axie Infinity and the play to earn model, which you can find on YouTube, where you see stories of people, you know, doing things like buying houses and supporting their family during the pandemic when work was shut down through games like this. So I know that a lot of those NFTs and gaming concepts can seem very abstract and like, you know, why would people be interested in this? But there's very interesting, I think, revenue earning opportunities, especially for people in developing nations. Cool. So I also wanted to go over the last category of the hackathon, which is social media, now that we've covered NFTs and gaming. So, you know, you might wonder, there's already, you know, very good social media that I'm a part of, whether it's like Instagram or TikTok or what have you. Like, why would I be interested in social media that's built upon a decentralized blockchain? So the way I see it, currently major social networks are controlled by massive companies that can make questionable choices, you know, with regards to your privacy, data, and so on and so forth. So there are critical decisions that happen behind closed doors, which often leave users feeling confused, frustrated, untrusting, or upset. It could be as simple as, you know, why did you redesign the website? I don't really like the new way that it looks. It could be as severe as, you know, why are you selling our data to, you know, third parties, and we don't really know what happens with that data, and why are these decisions being made, and can I opt out of these decisions? So these are feelings that occur repeatedly, I think, across today's social networks, and the user is stuck choosing between the lesser of two evils, or just really turning a blind eye in terms of questionable parts of the social platform if they want to be a part of it and be able to interact with their friends. However, we can envision a different future, right? With decentralized social media, what happens is that through a token, which can be used for governance, a token which can be earned by social media participants, you know, posting and having things go viral, you can use these tokens to be able to affect change and make governance decisions as it pertains to social media platforms. So in other words, you can put power in users' hands and allow them to decide the fate of the platform. So it means the people who love and use and care about the platform the most will also be the same people that control it as opposed to companies. So I think it's a very, very compelling reason for why to build decentralized applications upon blockchain platforms is exactly because of that. So for the first time, it's not just a small group of people within a centralized corporation who are driving decisions. You can really have the most passionate members of the community and user base contribute to influencing the direction of whatever application it is that you build, incentivized by this token model. Cool, so let's walk through some concrete examples then. So we have within our ecosystem an engineer who actually quit his job at Google to be able to move forward full time with with a social media application he's built called Discover, which is a decentralized version of Reddit. So there's 40,000 users currently on this platform, and it's only been live for a couple of months. So let's take a look at what it looks like. And my computer is a bit slow, so I apologize for that. So super interesting. So you can see here that I have like a certain number of points that have accrued because I've posted or I've like engaged with other posts by liking and commenting and so on and so forth. And that can, so basically the amount of points that I accrue here also changes the weight of my voting power when it comes to decision making on the platform. So you can see here that Discover, this decentralized Reddit, is also running their own hackathon, also which has gaming as a theme. So because I have the ability to vote as a user on this platform, I could say, I really like, icy emoji origins, which is a tab that I have open here. And also we'll eventually have a play to earn model, or maybe I'm a poker fan and I want to vote for Texas Hold'em. So essentially I can vote, and then they have actually quite a big prize pool. I think it's tens of thousands of dollars. And as a user, I can influence what are the final teams that receive this prize amount. Great, so that's basically what I wanted to cover. I will drop this link for the DFINITY showcase into the chat in case you're interested in taking a look. And I'm just catching up on chats now because I haven't been reading them, so let me take a look. Okay, so Thomas here is asking what developer resources are available. So we are compiling a very thorough hackathon guide for all of the participants in the hackathon. We also have our own developer Discord, the DFINITY developer Discord, where the majority of our developers are. We can send all of these links across, but would highly encourage you to be there. We also have a special channel devoted to the hackathon called #Encode-hackathon. So if you have any questions at any time of day, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We also have assigned a special developer resource for the hackathon. So if you're in our Discord, and again, we'll send across these links after the call, we have a senior developer relations engineer called Karsten Jacobsen, who's originally from Denmark, if we have any Danish people on the call. And he will be our dedicated resource. So if you have any questions, definitely drop them in the Encode Hackathon channel, and also feel free to DM Karsten directly. So next, I see Clara has asked, what coding language are we expected to build in? So currently, when it comes to the backend, there are two main languages that you can build in, although in the future, any WebAssembly compatible language will be able to be used to build on the Internet Computer. So currently, the two languages are as follows: Rust and also Motoko, which is a programming language that we have come up with at the DFINITY Foundation. And again, we have many resources online. I think that we created Motoko to be accessible to developers who are familiar with languages like JavaScript. So I think it would be an okay learning curve. And also, we're here for you if you have any questions. And then on the front end, that's much easier because if you're a front end developer, you can use any framework that you're used to. And we can provide some links in our onboarding guide in terms of templates you can use on GitHub and so on and so forth. Okay, every Grow M is asking, where is data stored on the Internet Computer? So that is a really interesting question. So data is stored within the smart contract canisters themselves. So basically what that means is that data is persisted. So as long as you have enough cycles within your canister, so cycles are the unit metering out computation on our platform, data will exist like infinitely on our platform. And for the course of the hackathon, nobody is expected to spend any money, of course. And if you go to this site called faucet.definity.org, as long as you have a GitHub account that's older than 3 months, you'll be able to receive $20 in cycles, which should last you, I think, definitely way more than a month. So next question, is there an internet computer and Ethereum bridge? Also a very good question. So there's a couple of things that are currently on the planned roadmap. So I think around by the end of the year, early next year, we're going to have an integration with Bitcoin. And that's a decision that was voted on by our community. So in terms of like technical decisions of the internet computer, we leave it to the hands of our token holders to be able to vote on decisions and influence what happens with our roadmap. So our community members recently passed a proposal around the integration of Bitcoin and internet computer. I know that we have an upcoming proposal around if we should integrate Ethereum with the internet computer, and should that pass, then yes, that would happen. But that's a decision that would be up to our community members. De Castro saying, looks like NFTs are the best thing to build for this hackathon. I mean, I think it's very interesting. I'm definitely biased, but yeah, it's a subject I'm definitely very keen on. So Jeff is asking, what is the MetaMask equivalent for ICP? So that is an excellent question. There is a browser-based extension that's a wallet called Plug. So that's what it looks like, and I can drop the I'll drop the link to it here. So Plug is created by this company called Fleek, which is also a grant recipient within our ecosystem. And they also created the faucet that you see here as well, where you can receive free cycles to be able to deploy to the internet computer. So let me drop this here. Great, next questions. Will NFT design be rewarded? So there, like I mentioned, there's 3 main categories for the hackathon. So NFTs, gaming, and social. You're welcome to build things outside of the 3 categories. And if you look at our showcase here, there's actually quite a few categories like wallets, infrastructure, tooling. There's like authentication, like DeFi, and so on and so forth. So definitely welcome any sort of ideas that you might have. There's not like extra credit for like doing one thing versus another. We just want to see your submissions in terms of what you're interested in building. So is the code for these projects open source? Excellent question. So in the onboarding guide that we will send across on Wednesday, October 6th, and we'll also be covering the guide during our first workshop on Wednesday, October 6th, so make sure to tune in. And it'll be recorded, so if you can't make it, you'll still be able to watch it on YouTube. We will be going over some examples of open source repos that you're able to fork and really examine the code. So hopefully that should set you along your way in terms of your hackathon progress. Let's see. Gianluigi says, what tooling is currently missing in the ICP ecosystem that you'd like to see built during the hackathon? Thanks for a great session. Glad you enjoyed it. So actually what we should do is that let's go to the grants portion of our website. We have like different categories that we look for. I mean, this is like, separate from the purview of the hackathon, but I know that we do have a section that covers what sort of categories we'd like to see in the course of the hackathon. I mean, in terms of the grants program, and part of that includes developer tooling. Okay, so if you want to expand beyond the stated scope of NFTs, gaming, and social, I can also drop this link in the chat, but there are areas of infrastructure and tooling that we would love to see. So examples of that include, so we call it canister development kits, but essentially that's like SDKs and agents for various languages. We'd love to see developer tooling in terms of like different IDEs and debuggers and logging libraries. We'd love to see infrastructure in terms of oracles and asset bridges. in terms of integrations and APIs, if you want to create like, a chat application or email, maps, etc., we love to see it. We welcome it all. So hopefully that answers your question. Every GrowM says, how complicated should a game be? I mean, it's a month-long hackathon. I know you all are at university and you have a lot of obligations. So I would say, as much time as you can devote to it, like definitely feel free to spend as much or as little time as you have available. And we'd rather see you submit something and see what you've come up with than for you to be super worried, like, oh, is this good enough? I don't think I'll submit it. Like, just submit it. We would love to have you as part of our ecosystem and see what you've come up with. And again, if there's any questions along the way, we are here for you. So Stuart is asking, is there an OpenSea equivalent? Yes, it is called Entrepot. So I will drop the link here. All right. And then SADASD is asking, are prizes paid in ICP? That is a good question. So winners will have two options. I think it's between your local currency, so whatever country you're based out of, or USDC. So Fred is asking, what is a canister and how does it differ from a smart contract? So that is an excellent question. If you come to our workshop on Wednesday, October 6th, we'll do a deeper dive on this, but the short answer is a canister is a type of smart contract with enhanced functionality with that of Ethereum smart contracts. Elias is asking, will there be a physical meeting in, say, Zurich? So I feel that given how COVID is progressing, originally we were planning on doing like in-person meetings and so on and so forth. I don't know how that will be looking for this year, but I will say this, we are planning a developer conference in Europe early next year. And if you participate in the hackathon and we notice you, I think there will be opportunities for you to be able to potentially attend and present. So I will leave it purposefully vague because I don't want to commit us to anything, but that is something that is in the works for us now. So anyways, I think that is the end of the questions in the chat. I can turn it back to Anthony if there's any closing words that you wanted to say.
No, thank you very much, Liz. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming this evening. A reminder on the obvious links, please. If you haven't actually registered for the hackathon, that's absolutely fine. Please make sure, where's my chat gone? There it is. Please make sure to register here. Make sure you will receive all this information sent directly to you, but please do make sure to, if you want to make doubly sure to sign up to the event on Wednesday, which you can broadly see as the start of the hackathon. And last but by certainly no means least, please, when you do register the hackathon, do sign up to the Discord as well. If you have any remaining questions, this is a wonderful time to say use Discord, because that's the purpose of it. So I thank Liz for her time, and thank you all for coming here this evening. And we look forward to seeing you build some fantastic stuff in the hackathon. One last thing to say is this event will go up on Medium and YouTube for your consumption tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good time. See you all soon, and looking forward to some exciting things being built. Thank you very much, all.